Welcome, everybody, to our 10th day of our journey together here, walking those 12 days of sacred self together. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy healer, energy teacher, and therapist, and I train other energy healers and energetically sensitives who want to learn more about how to walk this path of spiritual awakening. And today I would like to talk a little bit about that. What spiritual awakening even is. Yeah, so the biggest theme for the year 2024 is going to be the awakening. But what is it actually that we are awakening to? Yeah, when it comes to spiritual awakening, well, I want to think that this means that people awaken up to a deeper spiritual reality within themselves. And this typically happens through, well, what we call spiritual experiences, some kind of connection within. And many people are going through this already and are unaware of what this means. Once we awaken to this impulse in us to connect with something, that we could call our soul self or the soul level of our being, everything changes. Now, how can this look like in our societies? Does this mean that we're all going to run to church or that we're all going to start worshiping some god? No disrespect. But many of us here come from a place of, I don't want to say haven't been traumatized, but come from a place where the religious conditioning, the religious teachings that they have experienced maybe in their childhood or through their families or tribes has not really worked for them as a model. And this is something to take seriously, because when we are awakening spiritually, we need to have some kind of roadmap. We need to have some kind of concept or precept for us to understand what is going on inside of us. For 15 years now, I have been teaching energetically sensitives, people who are awakening to a sensitivity to the immaterial, picking up on outer energies, picking up on perhaps other kind of realities such as the etheric or astral. Those are all parts of this spiritual reality. But when we're at the very beginning of it, and maybe you can remember what that was like, we don't really know. We don't really know what to do with it. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember having a spiritual experience but not really knowing what to do with it? And perhaps all you had as tools or signposts were the things that you were conditioned with, such as sin, or such as ascension, or justice, or atonement. Those are all words and concepts that we carry with us without actually fully feeling what these kind of processes or these kind of models, what they truly mean. Who remembers this? I remember this clearly. I had a very clear experience of the spiritual very early in my life. But I had no idea how to navigate this. All I felt was that I am small and bad, like childlike, that I'm not good enough. Perhaps also that I don't belong, that I don't deserve this kind of attention from God, I think, is how this felt like as a child. So it was more accidental, and whenever I felt something like a spiritual connection, I immediately felt guilty. Can you guys relate to that? Or how was that for you? Anybody?
I remember when I was a child, I have not thought in spiritual things, but I remember that I wanted to escape a little from the world, so I had something, I could move my legs and then I could fly away. I did that many times. I could fly about, I don't know, 20 meters above the houses, and then I could look down on things. But when I was older, I have a spiritual experience, and I did not know I had not any clue of what it was, and I thought it was something external that came to me. It was later that I
scary too, right?
See that it was inside of myself.
But, so you know that today.
Yeah,
you know that today. But in the beginning, it was something that is unknown to you.
Yeah.
Something scary?
No, I'll not say it's scary. No, nearly the opposite.
Okay.
It felt really, really peaceful. But I thought that, wow, what is coming? I thought that I did not understand it, but I thought that it was outside of myself.
Now, you said it's different today. Annette, would you like to elaborate on that? What is different today, and what have you done in the meantime? What have you learned in the meantime that makes you understand your own spiritual experience, your inner experience of spirituality in a different way today?
It's so, I can't really say it because so many things happened, but before I even haven't thought very much about spirituality because I was a little, how can I say it? I didn't like it, or I was ashamed, and I did not felt like God was something for me, and I externalized it, all of it, and yes, I think it's because of all my work. I can feel that I was quite sure that I was a body with perhaps a soul.
So what is different now?
It's different because I can feel with my heart that there's something more than only my body. And it had opened so much more. I can say that there's more. I can feel there's more than I can feel today. There's more there, but I can feel and I know with my heart that there's more than only my body.
So you can connect with a different part of yourself than now?
Yeah.
And you called this spiritual. That's
Yeah.
what you experience from within yourself as spiritual, as opposed to, and I'm filling in the blanks here, you didn't say this, but I know this for most people, as opposed to this immediate connection or also confusion between spirituality and religion, right?
Yeah.
So there is this religious, depending, regardless of which religious model we grew up with, there is, the religious model is the only one that we can refer to at first. And Annette, you calling from Denmark, correct?
Yeah.
And you were raised in a Protestant Christian society, I suppose?
Yeah.
So what's the spiritual model of this sort of Danish Protestant understanding of spirit, understanding of soul?
I remember I'm raised with a father that was not religious at all, so he made fun of it, and in my family there was so much issues with religion that and we are not very religious here in Denmark. No people, or only a few people goes to church, and yes, there's a lot of things about religion, and
yes, the reason I'm asking,
and confusion about religion and spirituality. And I remember it have always been a little, how can I explain? I have not thought that spirituality was something like a new age act. So I did not think I was a spiritual person at all before, when I started working with you, and 5-6 years ago, I have not thought I was spiritual at all.
This brings up another question, namely, what is spiritual?
Yeah.
How do we know that we're spiritual, and how can we express ourselves spiritually? I just wanted to clarify one thing, and the reason why I asked about or inquired about the religious system that you grew up in, because you mentioned something like there was sort of an undertone of shame in you, admitting to yourself or others that you are spiritual. Do you think that has to do with how your father viewed church or religion?
Yeah, some of it, I think, but I also think that there is something in our in Denmark that people are ashamed of being spiritual. I think there's something there in our community.
Something tribal.
Yeah, I think so.
That needs to be overcome as sort of a karmic collective aspect. Yeah. It's interesting. I always inquire about the system, the spiritual system that somebody grew up in. And since I have clients from all over the world, it forms a whole different picture of how people are dealing with their spiritual awakening. This is quite important for, you here, you're watching this right now, to reflect on that. How did you grow up? What was the feeling toward church, religion, God when you grew up? Because this is the first thing that you're going to resort to when you have sort of experiences with your own soul. Sean, do you mind sharing? I happen to know that you come from a different country, from a different continent, and a different spiritual background. What were your experiences up until your own spiritual awakening?
Hi, Jona.
Hi.
Hi. It's difficult to correlate it all, but the feeling of being brought up in a Jewish household that was not strict, but grandparents that were more strict, I guess I got it more from my grandparents, the innateness of Judaism, but I didn't get it from my parents. My parents too much
What were some
trouble.
of the pillars of that, the strictness that you just mentioned? The pillar, the model, the religious model, or the spiritual roadmap that you received through your grandparents?
I think through my grandparents was more, you know what, being a bit obedient in life and
Okay.
being not just obedient, but being on one hand scared and on the other hand believing in God so much and in the traditions, but being so afraid of 3D. So I got a lot of muddled up signals, but I've always been spiritual. And I can't tell you why. It's not because I've done anything special, or I've always felt it because when I used to get, my father used to go ballistic at me, there was a voice inside of me that said, this is not the truth. This is not, things will change. Like that, I can't make up. And I can remember where I was. I was standing and I was not even looking. I was looking at him dead in the eyes, but not looking. I was looking within.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that the sky didn't end with him, but it took decades to climb that level, you know. Then I just know that I know now even more so that it's mostly my thoughts and perceptions and stuff and staying in the head
What
because
a difference to
it's
this
not actually what's
obedient.
going on. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's still, I get caught up in it still, but there's a newness in it. There's something like, and it's not easy. There's moments that are like, but then there's others like, wow, this isn't my responsibility. I don't have to feel guilt or shame for that. That's outside of me. Da, da, da. I can now like really, wow, navigate. So there's a fear with it because it's like, okay, this is new. This is very new, but it's what's necessary. So I think that that innate impulse that I didn't get what I wanted from my family in a religious way. It was completely not what I wanted. I wanted every Friday night and dinners and stuff. But I always knew I was spiritual, and I always knew that we were all one. That's one thing. I was
That's a
so
beautiful way of
unconscious for
defining this.
so, but it's because I was so unconscious and in so much pain, yet I knew that. So because I knew we were all one, and being an empath, all the pain of theirs slipped into mine and just enmeshed. So now that I can even articulate that, it's beautiful, creating boundaries. There's no way that just Sean little me can understand any of this without something helping me and intervening and a spiritual path that's there. There's
It's
no way.
interesting, Sean. Without knowing you, you're coming up with lots of different descriptors for what it means to actually wake up to our own spiritual authority. What I hear you say is that you know your spiritual connection from within, that you don't necessarily need all these rules and traditions in order to connect. And yet there are certain things, like you said about the Friday night dinner and all being together, right? These are fundamental things that we can feel as spiritual, as an expression of spirituality. And there's nothing wrong with cultivating this in societies and in tribes, through spiritual rituals, for as long as they bring people together, for as long as they unite people, like you said, for as long as there's a sort of a mutual understanding of what we can all feel in our hearts. This unison, we all belong together. And unless our heart is really closed off, this is something we can all feel. I referred to this on the first and second day here of our journey together with, the holy days, that are celebrated all over the world, where it's all about connection, where it's all about coming together and enjoying, this vibrational frequency of everybody kind of honing in on the same goal, and that is to be together. Now, the practical expression of that, how it then turns out in reality, is often somewhat disappointing, perhaps. In some families, maybe too much on the side of consumerism. In other families, it brings up all the unhealed stuff from childhood. So it's the reason why I do these getting through the holidays series every year, because there is a need for us to stop for a moment and feel within and what it actually means, that we want to feel. So we were talking about spiritual awakening and how some of our journeys were, and you can already tell that there are some similarities here. It has to do with feeling inner peace, inner harmony, and some kind of connection with others. Of course, also the connection with something higher than us. But first and foremost, what you guys were describing is a feeling. A feeling, not a concept. It's a feeling, and that feeling is something that connects all of us. And this is here on the 10th day, where we're looking at pretty much one of the highest spiritual hierarchies, one of the strong, most powerful spiritual forces in this universe, comes in through what we call the SERAPHIM in spiritual science. And the translation for us here in this modern Western spirituality would be the power of love. The power of love is the strongest power in all of us. It drives the universe, not just the wheel of time, not just the wheel of justice, as we've learned about yesterday, the wheel of balance and harmony. It is the very paradigm that brought us into existence. And the interesting thing is that when we reframe spirituality really as something that tunes us into this power of love, and I'm not talking about sentimental love, romantic love, I'm talking about a very, very deep connection that we can all feel through our hearts. That makes us feel supported, that makes us feel loved, that makes us feel that we matter, that we're here for a reason. This love is what brought us and everything else into existence. And from a spiritual or energetic point of view, this is a vibrational frequency. It is one of the highest vibratory resonances in our universe. So, how can we get this together when we are living in this modern world and we're experiencing all these things in our world? Like war and polarities and everybody against everybody. And we wake up to something that at first feels like it's not in this world. How can we reconcile that? How can we deal with that? That is the biggest question here when it comes to this next step of our evolutionary journey as human collective. What will happen when we awaken, consciously awaken to this highest power that brought us into existence? We all talk about inclusion and sustainability and unity and equality and justice. Those are big political terms. But our reality is far from it. What do you think is going to happen when people wake up to the reality that there is something that connects us all, regardless of gender, of race, of tribe, of religion? And you conceive a world in which we are fully aware of this power working through us. This is what spiritual awakening is. The conception, the inspiration, a new model, a new paradigm for living, for conscious living with others in harmony, in justice, in unity and equality, for real. But as we all know, and this is why I talked to you guys about your first spiritual experiences, as we all know, the reality, the 3D material reality out here is far from it. So we need a roadmap, an updated roadmap, a new paradigm of navigating these spiritual feelings, these spiritual thoughts, these spiritual impulses in us. And this is what we call the initiation, the spiritual initiation process. I've reported about this here throughout these last 10 days. And I've used the hierarchy of spiritual powers that are working through us here as a model for you to tune into these pillars, these fundamental learnings or teachings that we need to internalize for ourselves to form something that you shared here today. Your own spiritual identity, your individuated soul self, your own spiritual authority, where you can clearly state without shame, without fear, without externalizing it, that you know God in your heart, that you know what this divine love feels like, that you know how to tune into this, how to work your life accordingly, without getting distracted, without getting misled, or without trying to check out from it. So yes, this is a spiritual graduation that we are going through, away from just being told what it means to be spiritual, or just thinking that if we look the part, that we come across as more spiritual. Away from all these externalized models toward an internalized experience of our higher self, and with it also God or higher power as you define it. How? Through the love, the divine love that we can feel through tuning into our heart. And some of these initiation methods, they go a step farther than just feeling it. So it's not enough to just feel it. We also need to work on understanding the framework. That's this task that I have been talking about. The formation of our consciousness soul. Learning about the greater plan that is there. Not just your purpose in life and how you matter and what you can do and how you can be successful. No, also how you can contribute to this overall development of our collective, and more so the impact that you can have on the overall development, the overall evolution of this planet. And this requires us to understand sort of the greater cosmological aspect of the power that we possess, the power, the faculties, the abilities that we can access once we've formed our I am, our spiritual authority. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with this. Here within the Sacred Self-Healing community, we constantly talk about it. It's not just about how to maximize your success and how to get other people to work for you and how to work smart but not hard. Those are all paradigms or goals to come from a material perspective only. Just think about it. Is making other people work for you? Is that spiritual? Passive income. Yes, you don't have to do anything. You can sit there on your, Caribbean island and, do whatever you want to while others are working for you. Is this spiritual, guys? Is this representing equality, sustainability, unity? No. And you can feel it in your hearts. We need new models for success, new models for business, new models for health, new models for law, new models for relationships. All this needs to be transformed if we as a whole collective want to become able to live this. Do you understand? Most of you are still trying to fit into this old paradigm and struggle because you can't unify this within yourself. You can't harmonize this. You suffer from the narcissism and the coldness that is out there in people, the entitlement and the sheer egotism. And at the same time, you wallow in your own pain and your victimhood and see this as a reason not even to try. That's not spiritual either. Or the other extreme where you go out there and sacrifice yourself, take on the pain of the world and try to rescue the world or the planet or other people, try to convince them that they need to spiritually awaken. No, that's not spiritual either, guys. Do you know how spirituality in you, a conscious, spiritual feeling and thinking and choosing expresses? Through the willingness to understand the other, through the willingness even to accept the reality of limitations in others. This is something many of us still have to work on. The willingness to see things the way they are, the willingness to accept truth, the willingness to step up into the responsibility that comes with freedom, and the willingness to forgive and have compassion, to come from a place of love, even in the face of pain. The willingness to transform your pain from the past into love, into healing. Healing resonates on the vibratory frequency of love, guys. That's an interesting thought. That's just sort of a tiny glimpse into this new paradigm, this new framework that we need for truly being awakened. So when we tune into this power of love, love can heal it all. It is truth, but not in the way we interpret it. We interpret love as something sentimental, as something, like a weakness, like Annetta said, maybe something that we need to feel ashamed of. But really, love is extremely powerful. Love comes with light and warmth, guys. And I can assure you that it can withstand any of the darknesses. Love, the Sacred Heart. I keep repeating this word because it's so important that you have a concept for this. The flame of love in your heart is the power that can drive out all darkness, not only through the resurrection or reignition of light within you, but more so, it's contagious. It can serve others, and that you can give other people hope. You can, help them find a path in darkness. How? Because you know God, you know love, you know it's there. You also know that it's hard to materialize sometimes. And that's the power of love. So in order to withstand the darknesses that we have to face in our spiritual initiation process, and yes, spiritual initiation must include confrontation with untruth, unlove, and unfreedom, the darknesses that are out there. You cannot just say, oh, everything's light and love and we don't need to worry about it and darkness doesn't exist. That's ignorant. Somebody who is spiritually awakened knows that darkness exists, and also knows the dynamics within him or herself, how darkness can work through us. Darkness can work through all of us at any time. Spiritual initiation is learning the methods and how to drive the darkness out, and how to increase the light, the capacity of your heart to hold love. Sean, what you said earlier, this feeling of we're all connected. This is something that comes from a capacity in your heart. You have to be able to hold all of us in order to feel that. And many of you can already feel this. You just don't know how to get there. Guys, it's the framework that you need to work with. Your values, your impulses are all wonderful and true for the most part. You just keep trying it with the wrong people. Okay? So, big part of spiritual awakening is the ability to discern. To become more picky and choosy with people that you want to share this with, because you're realistic enough to know that not everybody has this spiritual impulse internalized yet. So pick the people that you want to share this with wisely. That's probably the best practical advice that I can give to you. And understand that the good and the bad, the duality that our ego sees, the black and white, that those are not the only options, that there always is a third option, and that's the middle ground. That's the center of you, the middle, your sacred heart. We also call this Christ consciousness in spiritual sciences, because it is through the Christ incarnation, that we have received this New Testament, these new paradigms, these new ways of living with one another, like an updated version of our traditions and basically rules of living together in harmony. So even if you're not of Christian faith, if you just look at the Christ consciousness, just how you can look at the Buddhic mind or the yogic body, okay, as sort of avatars that came in here, into this spiritual and into this material reality, to announce the new task and the new ways of, the new methods of initiation and disciplines, to conquer that, to master that. And it is just like how it is in our personal lives, that with every stage of mastery, we own the previous stages. So as a person that is alive in the 21st century, we don't have to go through the stages of initiation that with the same stages of initiation that people 8,000 years ago had to go through. This has already been internalized for the collective. So what we are going through now as humanity, truly forming our spiritual authority, our individuated soul self, through our consciousness soul. That's never been there before. So we need to understand that this global transformation and so forth that we're all talking about is a huge step, and this doesn't happen overnight. It happens through us adjusting to it bit by bit. And my job is not to tell you what to do or not to do. My job is to help you navigate this, is to help you with introducing you to these new frameworks and teaching you methods, how you can navigate this within your own spiritual authority. So beware of anybody who comes along and says, I am your spiritual authority. Because we are now in a time where we all have to take on this spiritual authority. Some incarnated God or false God, is outdated, guys. And this is something I mention here because this will determine the next 2 years. With the spiritual awakening, there will be a lot of confusion, a lot of misleading spirituality out there. People, leaders will come forward that pretend to be spiritual authority. And I hope that through guiding you through your inner experience of spiritual authority, that you will be able to discern and also help other people to discern. Always remember that we are not a body with a soul, but a soul with a body. And that means that we always have this third option. And on this level of the SERAPHIM, the spiritual angel hierarchy, or the spiritual powers that are working through us, that represent the power of love, it is the ability to conceive the triune nature of us, the divine mother, the divine father, and the divine child, the Holy Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Son. And let's see, maybe the older version of it. The third option, we are the divine child, and that is your authority. So let's tune into this via our own inner experience and align to Trinity and what this feels like within ourselves. Trinity. I am one with the Divine. I choose to be fully present in the now, the eternal now of this moment. Through the center of my heart, I lovingly connect with the Divine Child in me that is created out of the union of the Divine Mother and Father, nurtured through the unconditional love creation has for me, and expressed through my sacred self. To this sacred moment in which I am aware and present, I devote this journey, the remembrance of this divine co-creation power in me. It allows me to understand the purpose of my journey and my choice that honors this divine love in me. I am aware that this remembrance eludes me sometimes when all I can feel is fear, rejection, and the absence of love, as it pretends to be the source of creation itself. It clouds my perception with the temptations of untruth and false sacrifice. But in my heart, there is a sacred space within, pure and light, in which only love exists. When I choose to be in my sacred heart, I choose the inner experience of my higher self. I feel safe and warm and never alone, even when my lonely ego pains me. Here, I can love my inner child, pure and innocent, with the same love the Divine has for me, as I can love myself. I now ask any ties or binds, patterns or programs not serving me anymore to let go and embrace the unconditional love and strength of my inner divine Trinity, my past, present, and future self. Through this conscious connection with the love for the Divine Child in me and the wisdom of my sacred self, I now know that I am not alone, never have been, and never will be. I am unified and whole. I am. Thank you. Thank you. I am unified and whole. Yeah, That's what it comes down to. Trinity means to invite this reality, that you are the divine child, into your world, into your material world, into your understanding of yourself. We have been tuning into these alignments also for the purpose of tuning into the month that is associated with this vibratory energy. And I like sharing or hear your sharings, your feelings, your maybe visuals that came forward for you. Does anybody like to share? I know it's only a few minutes.
I also felt a really much curiosity.
Did you say curiosity?
No, curiosity.
Oh, like seriousness, like sincerity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, I can't say why, but I felt it like it's now, or it's really, really important. And then I saw the infinity sign, and then I thought that it was like all is fitting together. The Course in Miracles, the marathon, and this,
Annette is referring to something that we do here in the transCODES Sacred Self-Healing community. Yeah, so just for explanation, the marathon is a energy healing session, 3-day intensive that we just finished. And this one was called Future Self, where we learned the mechanics of energetically tuning into our future self. And the Course of Miracles is a work group that we have here on Skype that you are free to join, as well as, of course, all the workshops that are coming to you as a Sacred Self-Healing member. So there's a lot of things going on, and you are participating in them, Annette. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but what I hear you say is that all of this is now starting to really click.
Exactly, yeah.
And this is then, what we call spiritual initiation. Okay, so the first is the awakening, and then there's lots of confusion and inner struggle with this. And then as we learn through various methods, like meditating, contemplating, expressing, energy sessions, energy or spiritual education, training, to master our thinking, because it's a new way of thinking that sets in with the spiritual awakening. Training to master our feeling, to know when we are, falling into our own resentments, or victimhood and things like that, to be able to identify this. And then mastering our own choosing, the ability to follow through. I've painted a roadmap for you here, going through these 10 spiritual hierarchies that show you the different powers that you are beginning to work through and internalize. So I agree with you, Annette. It's very important now. Yeah. Because in a world like ours right now, where nothing seems to make sense anymore, it is the higher understanding. And also the understanding of what is behind that. Yeah. What powers are working through humanity here? Yeah, what are the light forces and the dark forces that are working through individuals, through politicians, through organizations, to be able to discern them? Instrumental. And I love that you shared your visual with us, an infinity sign, yes. Because this is being recorded. So as soon as you wake up to your own spiritual authority, you're also creating sort of a record sheet. Okay? So for your next life, you don't have to start from scratch. You get to take your spiritual degrees with. It doesn't matter when we start this journey. Sorry, I didn't mean to overrun you with the commentary. Annette, I really appreciate your sharing. And I have had the privilege to accompany you on the journey. And I know it's true what you're saying. Any more impressions, visions, or impulses that you received here through this alignment?
Yeah, hi, it's Annette. I had feelings this time, and the first feeling, it came very fast, or in the beginning, was unifying. A feeling of being unifying, yes. And then there was, like Annette said, a lot of gratitude. And in the end, I had also had a feeling of some kind of breakthrough.
Mm-hmm. Did you see a visual with that?
No, I didn't have any visuals today. It was only feelings.
A feeling? Mm-hmm. Yeah. A breakthrough. Mm-hmm. Truth is going to break through. In October next year. Anybody? Any more impulses that you want to share? Feelings are fine. I saw a white dove. So the ability to discern and to work with all these symbols and etheric visions and so forth needs to be trained, right? So, but sharing is the first step. No longer being afraid or ashamed of our inner feelings. And to recognize that they are important. This is what is coming through your spiritual authority. And because we are all one, you need to realize what that means. You are seeing something that everybody's going to see. We don't need to go to oracles anymore, guys. We can do this together. This is something that I'm seeing for the future. Yeah, that we have groups of people who do this visioning and forecasting, each and every one contributing a different angle, a different camera perspective. So keep sharing. I give you guys these SoundCloud files here in the Skype thread and also in the email. So if you have not yet subscribed to my email newsletter, you may have not gotten the daily emails with links that I am sending out with the recording, then please do so now. There is an email with the link for the MP3 and a write-up for each of these resonances and initiation methods that we're learning here. We have 2 more powers to tune into, 2 more days. And then I want to remind everyone that we have the new energy train or class, beginning semester, starting here in January, as well as Love Integrity, a 3.5-month course to learn how to live this divine love. Yes. All coming up in January, maybe a really good time to start something new and to learn about these mechanics, these spiritual and energetic interactions between people. After all, it's what we all are interested in. So it's all higher learning. You're more than welcome to join. There's no prerequisites. Check this out on my website. I see you again tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern US time, here for the 11th day of 12 days of Sacred Self. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.